Did you know that unseen forces might have been the cause of the infamous Salem Witch Trials? Let's take a step back in time to the late 17th century, to a small, burgeoning village in Massachusetts known as Salem. It was a time of considerable tension, with socio-economic disparities and religious fervor running high. The villagers were living on the edge, their lives dictated by fear and suspicion. In the heart of this pressure cooker, an event took place that would forever mark the annals of history: the Salem Witch Trials, a series of hearings and prosecutions of people accused of witchcraft, which led to the execution of 20 innocent souls. But what led to this mass paranoia? What were the unseen forces at play that caused such hysteria? Historians and scientists alike have proposed two intriguing theories. The first, mass hysteria, a phenomenon where collective illusions of threats spread rapidly through a population. The second, ergot poisoning, a condition caused by consuming rye bread infected with a certain type of fungus. The theory of mass hysteria draws upon the socio-economic and religious climate of the time. The Puritans, known for their strict moral conduct and fear of the devil, were easily swayed by the idea of witches living amongst them. This, coupled with the socio-economic disparities, led to a potent mix of fear and suspicion, creating the ideal conditions for mass hysteria to take root. On the other hand, the theory of ergot poisoning suggests a more biological cause. Ergot, a fungus that thrives in rye and other grains, was a common part of the villagers' diet. When ingested, ergot can cause hallucinations and irrational behavior, symptoms eerily similar to those exhibited by the accused witches. Both theories, while distinct, offer a glimpse into the complexity of the Salem Witch Trials. They suggest that these trials were not just a result of superstition, but also of socio-economic tension, religious fear, and possibly a biological anomaly. As we delve deeper, we'll uncover how these unseen forces may have played a crucial role in the infamous trials. So, what sparked the commencement of these trials that led to such chaos? Let's turn back the hands of time and delve into the heart of the matter. In the biting winter of 1692, the small village of Salem was swept up in an unexpected frenzy. It all began with two young girls, Betty Paris and Abigail Williams. These girls, caught in the throes of their youth, began exhibiting behavior that was nothing short of peculiar. Their bodies twisted and contorted in ways that defied reason. Their speech was filled with nonsensical babble, and they were seized by fits of hysterical screaming. The good folk of Salem were at a loss, their once peaceful community now ensnared by a terror they could neither understand nor explain. As the girls' condition worsened, the local physician was called upon to shed light on the situation. However, the doctor could find no physical ailment to explain their symptoms. Left with no other explanation, he concluded that the girls were victims of bewitchment. This diagnosis, as you can imagine, sent shockwaves through the community. The idea that witchcraft, a crime punishable by death, had infiltrated their village was a chilling thought. In a desperate attempt to uncover the source of this bewitchment, the girls were pressed to name their tormentors. Fearful and confused, they accused 3 women of cursing them. These women were Sarah Good, Sarah Osborne, and Tituba, a slave from Barbados. They were the first to be accused in what would become a wave of hysteria and suspicion that swept across Salem. This incident was the spark that ignited the flame of the trials. But were these girls truly bewitched, or merely victims of their environment? The answer to that question is shrouded in the mists of time. But one thing is clear: the fear and suspicion that gripped Salem in those fateful months would forever change the course of history. The accusations began to fly, and the trials commenced with a vengeance. As the echoes of suspicion resounded through the village, 3 women found themselves at the center of the storm: Sarah Good, Sarah Osborne, and Tituba. Sarah Good, a homeless woman known for her beggary and sharp tongue, was an easy target. Sarah Osborne, an elderly woman who hadn't set foot in church for years due to her failing health, was another. Tituba, an enslaved woman of South American descent, was the third. These women, marginalized and vulnerable, were accused of consorting with the devil, a claim they vehemently denied. In the face of their denials, the court turned to an unsettling form of proof: spectral evidence. This was testimony based on dreams and visions, where the accuser claimed to see the spirit or spectral shape of the person accused committing evil acts. It was a powerful tool in the courtroom, one that could not be easily disproved. The case against Sarah Good was particularly chilling. She was accused by several girls who claimed they saw her spectral form tormenting them. Despite her vehement denials, the spectral evidence weighed heavily against her. She was found guilty and sentenced to death. Sarah Osborne met a similar fate. Although she maintained her innocence, the spectral evidence presented by her accusers was considered irrefutable. She died in jail before her execution could take place. Then there was Tituba. Unlike the others, she confessed, spinning elaborate tales of black dogs, red cats, yellow birds, and a tall man dressed in black. Her confession, whether coerced or calculated, saved her from the gallows. She remained in jail until someone paid her jail fees. The public reaction was one of fear and fascination. The trials were a spectacle, a drama unfolding in real time. Spectral evidence, as questionable as it was, added an element of the supernatural that was both terrifying and tantalizing. The trials had begun, and Salem was in the grip of a witch-hunting frenzy. As the gavel fell and the accused were led away, an eerie silence descended on the village. The trials were far from over, and the witch hunt had only just begun. At the height of the hysteria, no one was safe. The year was 1692, and Salem village had plunged into a fever pitch of fear and suspicion. More than 150 people were accused of witchcraft, their names tarnished, their lives forever altered. Among these were notable figures like Rebecca Nurse, a 71-year-old respected member of the community, known for her piety. However, even her unblemished reputation couldn't shield her from the wave of hysteria. Accusations of witchcraft were hurled at her, and despite a petition in her favor signed by 39 community members, she was convicted and later hanged. Another chilling case was that of Giles Corey, an 80-year-old farmer. When faced with accusations, Corey refused to enter a plea. He knew the game too well: plead guilty and lose his property, leaving his children penniless; plead not guilty and face an almost certain guilty verdict from the fear-driven jury. His silence led to a brutal punishment known as peine forte et dure, where he was crushed to death by heavy stones in an attempt to extract a plea. His last words, "more weight," became a chilling testament to his defiance against the hysteria. The court, supposed to be a pillar of justice, was driven by the same fear and paranoia that gripped the community. Testimonies based on spectral evidence, visions of apparitions only the accusers could see, were accepted as valid proof. The Puritan belief in the unseen and the supernatural fueled this acceptance, leading to a miscarriage of justice on an unprecedented scale. The community's fear and paranoia were the invisible puppeteers, pulling the strings of the court, the accusers and the accused. Every rustle of leaves, every flicker of candlelight, every dream was scrutinized, interpreted as signs of witchcraft. The people of Salem were not just fighting an unseen enemy, they were fighting their own fears. As the trials reached their peak, the question arose: when would this madness end? Finally, the trials came to an end, but the aftermath was just as chilling. The year was 1692. The Salem Witch Trials, a dark chapter in American history, finally drew to a close. The end was marked by a pivotal decision that changed the course of the proceedings. The court disallowed what was termed as spectral evidence, the very backbone of the accusations. With this ruling, the testimonies of the afflicted, claiming to see the specters of the accused tormenting them, were no longer considered valid. This decision swung the pendulum of justice, leading to the release of those who were unjustly imprisoned. But freedom did not mean an immediate return to normalcy. The townsfolk carried the weight of their actions, and the town of Salem was forever marked by the trial's shadow. The aftermath was a time of reflection and regret. Public apologies were issued, including one from Samuel Sewell, one of the judges who presided over the trials. He stood in his church, humbled and remorseful, asking for forgiveness for his part in the tragic events. Reparations were also made, albeit insufficient, to the families of those accused. In 1697, the General Court declared a day of fasting for the tragedy that was the Salem Witch Trials. But the impact on Salem and American history extended far beyond these immediate actions. the trials became a symbol, a cautionary tale about the danger of hysteria, the power of fear, and the risk of unfounded accusations. The legacy of the trials continues to echo in American consciousness, seen in literature, plays, and popular culture. The Salem Witch Trials have become a part of the American narrative, a chilling reminder of a time when fear and paranoia overpowered reason and justice. Though the trials ended, their legacy continues to haunt us, reminding us of the danger of hysteria and unfounded accusations. They serve as a stark reminder of how quickly society can turn on itself when fueled by fear and suspicion. The story of Salem is indeed a lesson from history that continues to resonate in the present day.